Alright, well good morning everybody. This is April 24th and I am at Mount Olympus. It's been 23 days since I last been here and it seems to have greatly increased how much plants are actually here right now. So this is one of the first places for a lot of plants to come into bloom in the actual Wasatch because it's just so low down and so sun exposed, and that's just naturally what's going to happen. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of Amelanchiers, some sages, a whole bunch of other wildflowers, invasive and alike. So let's see what we find. Alright, now the first thing I want to talk about here is all these Erythronium grandiflorums. They are everywhere here. My old friend, the Glacier Lily, I talked about in a previous video, but I think it was actually my best video that I made, to be honest. But anyways, they're one of the earliest to bloom, and there's quite a lot of them all throughout here. Damn, they really are just everywhere right now. Wow, this whole forest is just full of this glacier lily. I love it. But anyways, it's been about, again, 23 days since I last been back here. And the last time I visited was April 1st. And a lot of stuff has changed. Most of the flowers are in bloom. And there's been quite a lot of rain, as you can, especially recently, as you can see. But anyways, it's been a lot of change. It might be peak bloom season, but I can always come back, of course. So let's see what else we can find. Oh, look at that. There's a Rosa Woodsy Eye. That's the, at least I believe it's a Woodsy Eye. It is a rose for sure. But that is the, Woodsy Eye is the main native rose species you'll find in the Wasatch. It's pretty common at lower elevations, and one of the characteristics about it is that it's not particularly spiky. I mean, this one's got some spikes on it, as you can see. But otherwise, yeah, not like a massively spiky plant compared to other ornamental roses, which are covered in thorns and are quite miserable to be around sometimes. Alright, now here's a pretty nice sight to see. This is Acer Macradentatum, except it's now finally coming into leaf and blooming, which I've been waiting a while to see happen. But regardless, it does seem to be the stage we are getting to, or here right now. You can see there's more of that all the way over here. Yep, and up ahead on the trail. Now the only main tree left to leaf out is going to be Gambel oak right there. Taking its time, but it's what it does. I've seen some of them actually breaking their leaf buds quite recently, but until I see them really leafing out and blooming, I'm probably just going to ignore them a bit. Well, the sun just came out, which is much appreciated, but also quite appropriate because I just found this member of the sunflower family, Balsamorhiza sagittata, also known as the arrowleaf balsamroot. It's a somewhat early bloomer. Mainly blooms in May. I've seen it like completely turn up parts of the mountainside yellow here, so I hope we can see that in the next few weeks. But anyways, it's of the sunflower family, and it's often mistaken for Wyathia or mule's ears, but you can tell Wyathia and Balsamorhiza apart because Balsamorhiza on the stalk right here, it's scapose or subscapose. I'm going to focus really quick. Yeah, so it's a subscapose plant will have their flower stalk just a leaf or just a few really shrunken small leaves, while the Wyethias, what they have is they got pretty large leaves, just as large as the basal leaves on the stem. But anyways, this plant is pretty common throughout the foothills of the Wasatch and other parts of the Rockies. That's certainly one of the most common plants, I'd say, out here. And we'll certainly see a lot more of them in the coming weeks when they come to bloom more. Okay, so right there we got a great example of a Pseudotsuga menziesii or Douglas fir, right next to a Abies concolor white fir, with the Abies concolor on the left and the Pseudotsuga menziesii on the right. You can see the one on the right, it's got the cones that hang down from it and the more vivid green foliage, while the other one's got no cones because they probably already fell apart and broke off the tree into pieces, and it's got more of a blue foliage. And back to cloud cover, but I'm just going to get some footage and see what the camera looks like now filming through the forest. I found out the Nikons aren't actually that great for filming, especially for DSLRs, but I did get that one really nice and pronghorn footage with this camera, so let's just see. So another plant I just found, this is most likely, I'm going to say, Amelanchier utahensis, or the Utah serviceberry. It's a little hard to tell without the flowers, but I do think, I'm going to say 90% chance it's the Amelanchier. Anyways, it's got these leaves that are shaped like that, like an elder's. Anyways, this is a pretty typical mountain brush habitat, which you will find all throughout the foothills of the Wasatch and other parts of the Rockies. Here in particular, we are about 5,500 feet, which is again prime elevation for this habitat. And here the trees aren't so tall, so you get more of a Gambel oak or bigtooth maple, which I've shown it countless times in this video. It should be hard to recognize them by now. Although then again, that was all without them having their leaves, so we'll have to wait for summer for that to be actually true. Anyways, yeah, it's a pretty typical habitat from there. It generally gets, and one thing about it is that it gets enough rain in the spring and early summer to be quite green, but by the late summer and early fall, it's been dry. Frequently enough, there often be wildfires. Oh, that's a little interesting. This whole ravine right there is like on one half of it, it's all like Acer Macradentatum, as you can tell by the plants that are coming to bloom and have some green on them. While the other half is all this plant in the foreground, the Quercus gambelii. Not really what it is, but it amused me a bit, and I am used to tomatoes, so maybe it's not actually interesting at all. Alright, here we got another example of that longleaf phlox I was talking about, the Flux Longivolius. Nothing that special about it, but well, it is special, it's cool. It's a member of Menziesii, which is a plant family that has, I think, almost all of its diversity and species in the western United States. It's a pretty emblematic family of the western United States, but I also found this, which is obviously a type of Galium, but according to Seek, this is a native one, Galium apiarina, but I can't be sure about that. It's yeah, I can't see the flowers, but I'll take its word for it for now. That's what it is. I mean, the app is really hit or miss at times. Like I was surprised it even said if there's anything more than a dicot, because without a flower, that app is borderline useless. All right, you see all these plants here look like baby trees. Those are indeed baby trees. They're Rus glabra, or the smooth sumac. It's the one that's native to most of the eastern states, but also to some parts of the west, like the Wasatch Front. And it's a nice plant. I used to think it was actually Ailanthus and an invasive, but I was really relieved to learn that they're actually a nice native species. So that's, yeah, really good relief. It's we also have this one thing interesting about them you can use to tell them apart from Ailanthus, because they do look quite similar to Ailanthus. Is this one produces a milky sap, so if you pull the leaf off, it produces a milky sap, but it is indeed safe. And yeah, Ailanthus, that's a pretty bad species. And all right, well, I wanted to show some allium or onion species I found. I found some wild onions earlier, but I missed them on the way back down, or maybe I took a different route down. I don't know, so I'll just finish off of this. This is an Amelanchier right here, that thing. But I talked about it in the Antelope Island Flora video, but what's also interesting is that there's these guys right there. This is a different species, or at least the same species but taking a different form of Amelanchier right there, which is, I don't know what that is. I could maybe try and identify them, but I don't particularly want to. So if anyone who ever watches this video happens to know what the two are, or if they're the same perhaps, do let me know. I mean, I'll try and look at them a little bit really close, but I'm not going to do it for a video. I'm getting sick of this, so yeah, see ya. Alright, so one more thing really quick. I found another specimen of that Galium I was talking about earlier. It was from the flowers, so I was able to key it out, and it does indeed seem to be Galium apiarina, which is a native variety. It's got these white flowers, and it's kind of sticky too, and it's got these like about 7 leaves per whorl. Like a whorl, by the way, is a group of leaves that kind of, if we have basically more than one leaf come out of the same point. So as you can see on this plant, like they got like quite a few leaves coming out of just one point on the plant, but one node as they're called. So I'm quite happy to see that. It's another native species I can check off a list. But now, okay, not for real. See ya.